Okay, you guys, I wanted to give you an update on my colostomy situation, which happened back in January. Um, as you can see, I look like shit. I feel terrible. This has been the worst 6 month period, actually 7 month period of my entire life. And for those of you that have been keeping track, it started with a really bad, horrific car crash where somebody ran a red light and T-boned me. Um, which may have been a chain reaction to all these other events happening, but I had real tight seatbelt compression from that accident and all bruising down in my abdomen and chest area. Several months later, that led to a perforated colon, which required emergency surgery to save my life. I was septic and sepsis, I guess they call that or whatever. Where you have your fecal matter is just pouring into your body, and the only way they can do is take the colon out, cut it, and leave part of it in your anus area down there, and then the other half they have it come out your stomach, and that's called a colostomy. So that was done back in December. Then a few months later, I ended up with melanoma skin cancer on my shoulder, and that was operated on and removed, and I had clear margins on that. Um, then I had a bunch of different skin cancers of basal cell and whatnot on my face, one of which is it's right over here. As you can see, the healing is still taking place. And so now the latest chapter is getting this reversal done on the colostomy and trying to get my life back to normal. So needless to say, this has been a long haul. It's been the worst experience of my life. And the reason I'm doing this video is not as a sympathy ploy, or it's just a general, to give you an idea of this is my story. This is what I had to deal with from beginning, and hopefully this will be the end here of what I'm going through right now. But it's not an easy track. I mean, a lot of people have horrific accidents in their life. They have cancer, they lose limbs, they have heart attacks. You know, everybody's journey is different when it comes to medical stuff, but this was an ongoing thing that just never seemed to, I could never shake it, and it's been lingering. And I'm always wondering, is this just another step in a bumpy road that's coming up? Because it just seems like every time I turn around, it's something new. And I'm worried about what's coming up here in the future. On the other hand, I want to be cautiously optimistic about my future, because I did get the bag removed, and I wanted to kind of explain it's just for educational purposes, and I wanted to do it early. So I've only been released now for 3 days from the hospital from the reversal, and I wanted people to hear my voice because I lost my voice. I could barely walk. In fact, I was just walking out in the driveway and I could barely make it down there. Like, I'm in so much pain. It's just, anyway, I'm going to go through step by step of what this final, hopefully final chapter looked like when this was all being done. And I also have to mention that before that car crash back in December, I did have stomach issues. It's not like this just popped out of nowhere. And that's why this is such a complicated web of what caused this to happen. But I was going back in my medical records, and it shows like I would go to the doctors complaining of stomach pains, inflammation, bad bowels, the whole 9 yards. A lot of pain down there. They were running MRIs and CAT scans. And so this had been going on for a while, for many years, until the accident, which may have been the trigger for the explosion of the colon. And then, of course, I had diverticulitis, which is the like lumping and bumping on your lower colon. There was steroid injections after the car crash, which can also trigger a colon to burst open. And I had a bad cough. I had a really bad cough for about a month, and that could have also caused that to tear open. So there's a lot of factors at play here. So naturally, before you go into surgery, there's prep work that has to be done. So I did what was called a hypaic enema, which was terrible. And I went in and they told me to lay on my side, and they stuck this like tube up my butt. And I had heard on the internet, watching videos and everything, that they go in through your stoma, through the bag. That wasn't what happened. They went up through my butt. And you want to talk about, first they go in there and they blow a balloon up inside your butt. And then they shoot this dye up in there. And the pressure, they kept saying, well, we have to do more. We have to add more, add more, add more. And every time they would do that, it was like I was doing my best not to scream out loud. The pain was just unbelievable. It was like they were just blowing my stomach up. The reason for doing the hypake enema is so that they can shoot that dye into my system to see if the colon has healed properly and it's ready to be reattached. Because if there's any leaks or it's not ready, then the surgery gets postponed, God forbid. But luckily, everything checked out in that uh, exam they did to me, even though it hurt like crazy. It passed the test. So then about a few days later, the pain was so excruciating at my house that I said to my wife, we have to go back to the hospital. Something's not right. They did something in there. I don't know, they must have bumped up against something or scraped or cut something. Something just isn't right up in there. And the other thing I did wrong was that day of that or several days after that hypake enema, I had a big salad. Now my diet's all over the place. I mean, I'm a guy that can eat a Mediterranean diet 1 minute and fast food the next. I can drink a beer or 3 beers one day and then drink no beers the next day. I can drink a glass of wine. I can drink no alcohol. I can live on energy drinks for a week. I mean, my diet is just all over the place. No consistency whatsoever. But what was different this time is I ate a big salad. And the salad, the scraping of the lettuce going through my colon on the way to the colostomy bag may have caused a blockage that created this chain reaction. So we go to the hospital. They run all kinds of tests. They put me under the CT scan, the MRI, same old system all over again. I'm like, I can never get out of this darkness. They classify it as a minor blockage. So they give me all kinds of things I can take to flush out my system. And sure enough, after about 3 days, the bag starts to fill back up again and things are back to normal. So I get released. So my big surgery day is set for June 27th at 6 o'clock in the morning. But before you go into surgery, you have to take all these different pills and meds and stuff through your system to cleanse yourself. I have all these different prescriptions here. Most of them are for helping the digestive tract. And like this one, for example, is to help shrink your prostate so you can pee better. And stuff like Dulcolax. I had to take Marilax. 64 ounces of Gatorade with this mix in it, the Marilax, and needless to say, the colostomy bag was filling up like the Hindenburg. But anyway, my system got flushed out, and so the day of the surgery, I went in, same process, very early in the morning, and so it began. So after all the pre-op testing and whatnot, I get wheeled into the operating room, and therein lies this big robot staring me in the face. Looks just like the one in the picture there. And the surgeon works off to the side. He has a separate booth that he sits in, and he sticks his hands in the sleeves and he operates the little pinchers that are going to grab all the parts inside your body and move things around. And the reason for this type of an operation is it's much less invasive than actually cutting you open like a cantaloupe and moving everything around. So the first thing I do is I move towards that bed. They move me from the wheel bed to the operating room table, and the nurse tells me stay sitting in the upright position. She puts her arms around me like this and she goes, we're about to go on a dance at your prom. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, just I'm going to hold you tight and we're going to go into a dreamland together and some such. I don't even remember exactly what she said, but what they were doing to me at that moment was sticking me with an epidural needle to numb the pain down there. And like they do with pregnant women, when they're ready to give birth, they give you the epidural needle, which numbs your lower extremities and your lower back, and it helps you to deal with the pain a lot better. So this next picture, I know it looks like a Thanksgiving turkey, but you notice the little holes, the ports. That's what they go through with the arms to do the operation inside you. My stomach right now looks like a tiger, like a Bengal tiger got me out in the woods, and there's like 6 scrape marks across the middle of my stomach. They look like cockroaches, like little mini cockroaches going across my chest. And then I have a much larger incision, which is where the colostomy bag used to be. And I have the stitches up here on my shoulder from where the melanoma was, because there was another bump that was the size of a golf ball that they wanted to remove. And they removed several other cysts on my stomach area and fixed the hernia that was coming out of my stoma. So this was quite a major operation and quite an undertaking of things that they were doing to me. So the operation is apparently a success. I get wheeled back in, they go in the post-op area and check to make sure your vitals are all good and everything. And then they wheel you to your final destination, which is your hospital room. And I get in there, and of course I have a roommate, which never excites me. But this time, you've all watched the previous videos and the problems I've had with roommates. This guy took the cake of all of the roommates that you could ever have. He was the worst possible roommate you could ever ask for. He was yelling all night long. He was, for religious reasons, he didn't want to use a catheter or anywhere to catch his poop that was coming out of his butt. So he was literally pooping and peeing in his bed. And every time he did it, he expected the nurses to come running in there and clean up his mess. And he would sit there and scream and hit the nurse bell over and over again until somebody would come and clean his poop up out of the bed. And as soon as they would leave, he would do it again. This guy was the absolute worst. So I thought, okay, this is a crazy person, right? No, he was pretty clever, because what he was doing was they sent a religious counselor into the room to speak to this guy, because they had to find out what makes this guy tick. And it was a young girl, very friendly, and she started listening. She was just listening to the guy talk, right? And he's going in circles, and I'm starting to understand his modus operandus. He's talking about every potential religious reality that there is on the planet. In other words, every single religion, every single outcome, every single possibility, every single reason for him acting the way he acts was included in that conversation. She had no rebuttal to it, walked out of the room, and I continued to be tortured by this man. Not only that, but he was one of these guys that had to sleep with the lights on, and I like the lights off, and I like the door shut to the outside hallway. No, he wanted the door open, and he wanted the lights on, and he was deaf. So he would turn the TV on real loud, so only where he could hear it, and it was like blasting in the room. I could get no sleep with this guy. 3 days in that room, I could get no sleep. So finally, the 4th day, I said to the nurse, I have got to get out of this room. I can't be in the room with this man anymore. So they transferred me to another room, thankfully. I should have asked for a transfer earlier. If you're ever in a hospital and you have a bad roommate or somebody that's misbehaving, you absolutely have the right to change rooms. You should not be tortured like that when you're fighting for your life. And I was in the worst case scenario with that guy. All the nurses loved me in that hospital. They realized how much torture I was going through with this man, because they were living it. They had to keep coming in and catering to this guy. And I could tell by the look, because of HIPAA laws, they couldn't discuss the guy at all. But they were giving me that look like, if I was you, I would get out of this room. And they all came in to visit me in the other room to see if I was okay. They saw what I was going through, and they were like, oh my God, this is terrible. That guy was absolutely horrific. But the nurses, I can't say enough. They attended to your needs. Look, you're going to get woken up a lot when you're in a hospital. They're going to do your vitals. They're going to take blood. They're going to check up on you to see if your meds are up to date and everything that you need while you're in the hospital. I understand that. And I'm always friendly to the nurses. How's your day going, sweetheart? How's everything at home? Are you doing okay? I like to smile. I always try to butter up the nurses a little bit rather than torture the poor people, because they're there to help you, and they understand that, and they're professionals at what they do. And you listen to them, do what they tell you to do, and you're going to get out of there a lot sooner out of that hospital. But they were all friendly to me. I really enjoyed it. Boca Regional Hospital is just, I have nothing but good things to say about that hospital, other than that roommate situation. I mean, and some minor things here and there. Now, as far as the doctor is concerned, I had Dr. Belazon, great guy, good surgeon. However, the only thing about that guy is he's a little bit vague on what actually took place with the operation. He is not really revealing about what they did. He doesn't get into the details, and I love details. I love to know what was done to me, how was it done, how long is this going to take. I need all the details. And he's one of those guys that walks in, says a few things, and walks out real quick. And I'm like, listen, I need to know. This is my life. Um, Even when I would go to his office pre-op, he would beat around the bush, like how many inches of colon are we taking out? How many did we take out? Is this going to come back? What about the Pope? He had his diverticulitis come back. All these questions. So ask your doctor a lot of questions. Don't shy away from that. Um, you need to know this is your life, and you have to know what's in store for you. But overall, the experience was horrific from beginning to end. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. The entire 7 month period of all the different things that I had done to me surgically. And again, as I stated in the beginning of this video, I don't know if there's more to come. I noticed a spot on my eye that I never saw before. I don't know what that is. So this might be just an ongoing journey of problems that I don't know when I'm going to deal with it or not. But anyway, this is the end of this chapter. I'm hoping to get my life back. The bag is gone. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm taking tramadol twice a day. Right now, you're supposed to take it once every 6 hours. I'm trying not to take a lot of pain pills because it prevents the healing, and it also makes you constipated. And I need to go to the bathroom. I'm not eating very much. I don't have much of an appetite. Naturally, you say it's been mentally demoralizing. So I'm going through this recovery period, but just wanted to give all my people that follow me, mainly for my hurricane information in Hurricane City, what I'm going through with this operation, what I've been through, and where I'm at in this journey. And if anybody has any problems, they have questions, they can email me, jim@hurricanecity.com. Any comments, questions, you can comment below this video. Please like the video, share it. You know, if you get a good laugh here and there out of it, not that there's anything to laugh about on this, but through my journey of all these videos, there's been some snickers in there. But anyway, I hope this helps somebody like me getting through a horrific period of their life. And that's it. Thank you for watching.